For today's eerie adventure, I have come to Badin, North Carolina, more specifically Badin Lake. And about a mile down these abandoned train tracks right here in front of me, nestled in the woods, is a cemetery by the name of Graveyard Island. Heard a lot about it, seen some videos before of this place, and I wanted to come out here and see it with my own two eyes. So like I said, pretty good little hike. Gonna go ahead and get moving. It's a very, very nice, beautiful day out. I'm gonna try to stay on the train tracks themselves. Now, these are abandoned train tracks that I'm on, but there's some on the other side that are active. But these are not, thank goodness. So you can easily walk down here without any issues. Don't have to worry about a train coming and plowing into you. So like I said, I'm on the quest to find Graveyard Island. Now Graveyard Island, it was not always called Graveyard Island. It was actually called Big Cut Cemetery before all the graves were moved to Graveyard Island, what is now Graveyard Island. And the reason why that happened is because in between 1913 and 1915, Badin Lake, it didn't exist before 1913. So Badin Lake was created between 1913 and 1915, and all of the graves that were in Big Cut Cemetery, which is now Graveyard Island, were relocated over here to this island. And in 1913, a French company came over here and decided that they wanted to create Badin Lake so they can have hydroelectric power to power their aluminum plant to be able to make aluminum. The French company that came out here and settled and made this place, basically Badin, they ended up selling the company to another company called Alcoa, which is the Aluminum Company of America. And then they built, I think it was like 4 dams or something. That way they would have more hydroelectric power to power their plant. Now Graveyard Island has, I think, 200 to 300 graves. Somewhere between 200 to 300. I'm not exactly sure. And a lot of them are unmarked graves. Some graves date back to, I believe, the late 18th century, so like late 1700s. But you also have some Civil War graves, family plots that when people were living here in Badin back in the 1800s, and they were buried in Big Cut Cemetery. Their families had them, or they were just relocated over here to Graveyard Island. Look how amazing this is. I've already walked probably a good half a mile or so, and right here in front of me, this big piece of land is Graveyard Island. I'm hoping that when I get up here, I'll be able to find these graves. Like I said, a lot of them have been weathered over the years, decayed, broken, and then all the leaves and grass and stuff like that have covered the headstones probably. I'm still hoping to be able to get over here and find a few Well, we'll see. It's a very, very nice day, but very windy. Hope you all can hear me pretty well. So I think I actually may have passed where I'm supposed to go up onto the island at, because if you can see over here, it's pretty steep. So I think I was supposed to enter back up here a little bit. And this is just so peaceful. So amazing out here. Now, like during the summer, even spring, boats come out here. And there's tons of boats fishing. The boats will be out here, and they even sometimes will let people off over here at Graveyard Island if you want to do some exploring. So we'll go ahead and get up here. All right. Very, 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 very inclining. I got up there, no problem. Now this is going to be the hard part, is trying to find where these graves are. Hope I can find at least a few. Not sure if this is one of them or not. I don't know. Alright, so I am on the search for some of these headstones. And I don't know if they're further back, if they're to the right or the left of me. Just gonna have to do some exploring. So I've been walking around this island for about 15-20 minutes. And I cannot find no cemetery, no graves whatsoever. But check out this view. Really cool view of the lake. All right, I'm gonna try to walk around for a few more minutes, see if I can find anything. So I have been walking around this island for about 45 minutes. Haven't seen anything that resembles a headstone until now. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that this is a headstone. Looks to be a makeshift headstone, but hey, I will take it. If it is any kind of headstone, I will be very happy. But right here, so you have some rocks stacked on top of one another. I don't know if this is a headstone, maybe not, but why would you have rocks stacked right here like that? I don't know. I'm hoping it is a headstone though. But looking around, like I said, I have walked and walked and walked, and I have not seen anything. No headstone, no nothing except for this. So I have no idea. I don't know if maybe locals have come out here and removed the headstones. Maybe the state. I have no idea. But I know when I've watched other YouTuber videos and I saw them find some headstones, they look like legit headstones. But I don't know where else to look. I've scoured this entire island pretty much. I mean, I've walked pretty much corner to corner, covered a lot of ground. Got some stuff up here as well. I don't know if you gotta watch your footing out here. I doubt this is a grave by any means, but got another rock here. I mean, there's these rocks all over the island like this, but not that big. Another rock over here. I wish there was some writing. I don't think this is a headstone, but yeah, I don't see any writing on it whatsoever. But again, a lot of these graves, unmarked graves, they won't have a headstone on it. But yeah, kind of a bummer. I wish I would have found the actual graves. So I think I'm going to probably start heading out. I think I may have found a couple of unmarked graves. Well, marked with rocks, with no writing on them. But you never know. Like I said, with these graves being here since, I don't know, late 1700s, early 1800s, most of them. Some probably a little bit later than that. It's going to be very difficult to find the actual headstones, because again, over 150, almost 200 years old. It's going to be very hard after all those years, all the weathering. I see something over here. Ooh, that tree almost buckled. But I see something over here, and I'm wondering, oh, you gotta be kidding me. No freaking way. Oh, no way. Oh, come on, please let it be. Oh, no, it's not. Dang. I thought this was a headstone, but it's not. It is just a pipe, a metal pipe. It goes down into, I don't know where. Definitely gives off some Jeepers Creepers vibes. A random pipe out here in the middle of the woods. Dang. I really thought that was a headstone over where I was. I got really excited there for a second. I see one more thing up here. I don't know if this is going to be a headstone by any means, but again, a lot of these rocks, got a rock here, another one there. I just wish one of them had some writing on it. Another one here. And I'm just not seeing any type of writing whatsoever. Another rock. Yeah, so I really got excited there for a minute. I really thought that that pipe was a headstone from where I was at. That would have been awesome. But I really don't know if these headstones have been removed. Don't know if over the years maybe they've fallen and leaves, dirt, and stuff like that has covered them. Because like I said, I have scoured this place and I have not found anything whatsoever. So I think probably going to start heading out. Have a long way back to the car. But I really wish I could have found some stuff today. Maybe I did. Maybe I did find something. I just don't know because they weren't marked. Yeah, kind of a bummer. I wish I could have showed you all some really cool headstones. Because I did see from a YouTuber a while back, they did find one pretty cool headstone intact. That would have been amazing if I could have found that. But again, I walked this entire freaking island pretty much. And I just could not find really anything definitive that would tell me that that is a headstone. So one thing that I forgot to mention when I was back there on the island, the oldest grave on Graveyard Island belongs to a woman by the name of Sally Chisum. And I believe she died in 1819. I think she was born in 1784, somewhere around there. And she passed away in 1819. Don't know where her grave is. That would have been amazing to find that, but like I said, I searched high and low, every crevice, everything, could not find that freaking graveyard. I'm gonna have to come back out here at some time in the near future. Maybe I might have better luck. Maybe the headstones are gone. I have no idea. I really have no clue. So one really cool story that I want to tell you all about as I'm walking back to my car is in 1944, June 7th of 1944 to be precise. Two pilots, one was named Second Lieutenant Charles McDaniel, and his co-pilot, John Winthrow, were flying into Charlotte. Well, I think they were flying somewhere else, but they detoured to Charlotte because their plane had some engine issues. So they fly into Charlotte, and instead of staying in Charlotte, Charles McDaniel, he lived here in Badin with his new wife, somewhere around here. Not quite sure. It is a really freaking nice view out here. But instead of staying down in Charlotte, Charles McDaniel said, hey, let's just go stay in Badin, where my house is, where my house and my wife are, and we can just stay there for the night and then come back down to Charlotte tomorrow morning and fly out. Charles comes home. His wife is obviously very happy to see him. They go to sleep, wake up the next morning. Charles and John head back down to Charlotte to go to their airplane. I believe they were flying a PBJ-1H bomber, if I'm not mistaken. I hope I am right with that information. But they get to the plane, and Charles says, hey, why don't we do a flyover over Badin, kind of like a goodbye to my wife. Not sure how long he was going to be going for, but he just wanted to fly over Badin and kind of just say bye to his wife. So Charles and John, you got a boat over there. Really nice day for it. So Charles and John hop in the plane, they fly over Badin. Somewhere around here. I'm not sure exactly if the plane went in the water on this side or if it went in the water on this side. But that's not very important. What is important is what happened to Charles and John that day, June 7th, 1944. So they were flying over Badin Lake sometime in the early morning hours. And Charles, before he left his house, told his wife around exactly what time they would be flying over the house. That way she can go outside and see them and wave at them as they were flying over. So as Charles and John were flying over Badin Lake, it is said that their plane hit a pocket of air and sent their plane kind of, not in a nosedive, but kind of at a vertical-ish angle. And the wing may have hit the water, and then the plane kind of went sort of nosedived in Badin Lake. Now, Badin Lake, I think I mentioned this earlier, but if I didn't, Badin Lake is 200 feet deep. So think about that. The land that you see around here, like Graveyard Island and the land over there with the houses and whatnot, that used to be, I guess you would say, like the mountains, quote unquote. Wouldn't really call them mountains, but they were like the peaks of the land masses around here. Because at the bottom of Badin Lake, that is what lies what used to be, I don't want to call it Old Badin, but there used to be a town or a little village down there that has churches, well, had churches and different buildings, graveyard, cemetery. So basically it was his own little village down there. Like I mentioned, in 1913 to 1915-ish, when Badin Lake was created, they flooded this whole entire area, and that's when they relocated all those graves to Graveyard Island. So if you come out here to Badin Lake, there used to be a town or a valley where Badin Lake is. So pretty much the center point of that lake, the depth is about 200 feet. And somewhere in this water still remains that plane that Charles McDaniel and John Withrow flew that day, June 7th, 1944. That plane is still down there somewhere. Now, it was said by the US Navy, they came out here and did multiple different dives to try to recover the bodies. But unfortunately, they could never find the bodies of Charles McDaniel and John Withrow. They only found, I think, a sock and a piece of a torn shirt. That's all they could find. They said that the plane, they did find the plane, but it was impossible to recover because the plane was in all of the trees, a lot of debris, probably had a lot of silt and stuff like that inside of it. Ooh, it is really windy out. Trying to cover that wind so there won't be no static. But yeah, so the Navy came out here, did multiple dives. They could only find very few pieces of clothing from the pilots, not survivors, the pilots. They found the plane, but they could not recover the plane. So the plane is still down there to this day. And I would say probably after 75-ish or so years, 80 years, there's no telling what that plane looks like today. But yeah, just a pretty cool story to tell. I thought that was a pretty interesting story when I read it. about a plane going down in Badin Lake. Plane was never recovered. The bodies were never recovered. Very sad story. Charles McDaniel being a new husband, his wife living right here in Badin, and his watery grave is Badin Lake. These train tracks just keep going and going and going. You really feel like it never ends. You feel like you walked about a mile, but it's been maybe a few hundred feet. But if you look back, well, you can't see much now, but the bend in the railroad tracks to Graveyard Island is probably a good, I don't know, I'm probably close to a half a mile, if not further. So I'm almost back to where my car is. Very, very long walk. About a mile-ish, give or take. But yeah, it is a very, very long hike. And especially when you hit up there at Graveyard Island, traversing through all that, all the hills, there are holes in the ground, so be very careful with that too. One could easily break their ankle, break something else, sprain something, and you do not want to be stuck back there on that island or down these abandoned train tracks. Nothing comes down through here, but you just don't want to be here all day, and especially in the evening hours. All right, so I have made it back over to where I parked my car. Gonna go ahead and end the video for today. Never knew you can get so exhausted by walking down some train tracks and going through some woods, but my legs are feeling it right now, especially my feet. They're feeling it too, big time. But thank you all so much for watching. Always appreciated. If you could hit that like button, also subscribe to the channel. Because like I said, I will come back out here again one day soon and see if I can actually find the graves. Maybe they're still there, maybe not. I don't know. But I will come back out here and do some more exploring sometime in the future. But yeah. Thank you all again for watching. I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care of yourselves. Explore carefully, as always. And I will see you all then.